And that's the reason why the Brewers are at the top or near the top of the division in the American League Central. Now, here goes. Today, pitching for Pittsburgh, speaking of which, will be Mitch Keller. He's a high-rated prospect. At AAA Indianapolis, the 23-year-old has a 3.45 ERA, a 1.43 whip, and a 56 strikeout to 20 walk ratio. So almost 3-to-1 ratio strikeout to walks. Okay? Now, he's going to pitch today against the Reds. And it's scary. It's scary. Because the Reds, wow, the Reds had quite the weekend in Chicago, didn't they? And at the core of their power were S&S, Senzel, and Suarez.
High fly ball into right center field. Tracking is Hayward, and the ball is on the ground as the outfielders run into one another. And on his way to third is Suarez sliding safely. 14 hits for the Redlegs here today and make it 15 as Senzel has his third hit today. And here he comes into second base. And he is in there safely. How about that by Senzel? Now that's what you like to see. Taking it to the opposition. Another player on another team. In the air, deep left field. This will bring in another run for Suarez. Tagging and scoring Senzel. So the hustling double leads to a Cincinnati run. And a 6 RBI weekend at Wrigley Field for that man.
That man was Suarez. And over the weekend, Suarez came into Friday batting .254 on the season against the Cubs, okay? Against the Cubs this weekend on Friday, he went 2 for 5. On Saturday, Suarez went 3 for 5. On Sunday, he went 2 for 3. That's 7 for 13, guys, okay? Suarez against the Cubs this weekend, he was like almost a one-man wrecking crew with his .539 batting average. He also had a home run and 6 RBIs over the weekend. So he came in Friday to Chicago hitting .254, and he left Sunday hitting .274. He raised his average 20 points over the weekend. Okay? Nick Senzel, hot. Senzel is a player to really watch. I mean, and we knew coming into the season he was a highly rated prospect. And, you know, he just hasn't gotten a lot of chatter. I don't know why. We talk about all the other Austin Rileys of the world. Well, how about Senzel and his hit tool? And he's playing every day. And at least for right now, knock on wood, he's healthy. Over the weekend, he went 5 for 15 against the Cubs, 3 for 5 yesterday with 4 runs scored. He's raised his average to .256 with 3 homers and 8 RBIs. And now Mitch Keller faces that Cincinnati Red ball club. I don't think it's a good look. I think the Reds are hot right now. Keller has had fairly good numbers at AAA. I think if I added Mitch Keller, I sit him today against the Reds. I mean, they really are hitting the ball, and they've hit the Chicago Cubs all around Wrigley Field all weekend. It's just not a good time, I think, to start Keller. Now, I could be wrong, right? I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again, but I'm not starting Keller today. I'm going to stash him, put him on my bench, let Cincinnati and that band of hitting juggernauts pass by, and we'll check him out next time around. Now, another pitcher, Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta is going to start Tuesday for the Phillies. And I am not a proponent of Nick Pivetta. Okay, let's get that started. Let's get that out right now. I am not a proponent for Nick Pivetta. Cha-Cha's talking about Kimbrel. And so we're going to talk about Kimbrel. We'll do it right now. That Kimbrel move and that Keuchel move, look for it early next week. And look for a lot of chatter about it this weekend. The draft being Monday, they're going to be signed early next week. It's a matter of who gets them. And my gosh, we could talk about the suitors for Kimbrel and for Keuchel all day long. And right now, I don't read anything that gives me a lead as to where they may go. Although, can't you see Kimbrel in Atlanta going back to the Braves? That's where I see him going. Keuchel, he's a Yankee. So let's see if my prediction holds true. Keuchel to the Yankees, Kimbrel to the Braves. Talk to me in the chat room. Let's see what you guys think about that. Fantasy-wise, Kimbrel, I mean, how long is it going to take them to be active? You know, Keuchel's been playing or pitching simulated games, 5-inning games every fifth day. The Yankees went this weekend, had scouts look at him. They're going to do their due diligence. Other teams are as well. If they feel like he's ready, I see the Yankees grabbing Keuchel. I see them having it already lined up. Just a matter of hey, wink, wink, we're going to sign you Monday after the draft, right? That's what happens, and that's what's probably happening here. Both of these guys are going to be signed up by next week. So if you're going to add them, now's a great time to do it. It's just a matter of, are you an AL only or NL only? You're taking a chance that Kimbrel signs with the Braves, and then what if he signs with an AL team? Well, then you're screwed, right? But they're going to be signing, and so if you have them in mixed leagues, yeah, I read Cha-Cha talking about trading. Sure, if you're going to trade, now's a great time because they're going to be active pretty soon. I think maybe give them a couple of weeks after the early part of next week, and I think by mid-June you got both of those guys playing in Major League games. Nick Pivetta, getting back to him, he is a train wreck, right? 4 Major League starts this year, 18 innings, he gave up 17 runs, walked 8, struck out 16. Now, he's been down at Lehigh Valley. He's got a 3.41 ERA, a 1.14 whip. He struck out 12 and walked 2 during his time at Lehigh Valley. And he's starting Tuesday. I don't want any part of that, okay? But he will be up. You know, Pavetta's got all the talent in the world. He just can't seem to harness it and put it together in a package that gets hitters out at the Major League level. But he's going to start Tuesday for the Phillies. If you're into that kind of thing, go grab him. Malpal says Keuchel will have to lose the beard. Well, you know, do you remember Lance Lynn? Lance Lynn had, well, of course you do, because he's pitching for the Rangers and pitching really well so far this year. We could almost do a segment on Lance Lynn. In fact, I tell you what, let's do that. Let's talk a little bit about Lance Lynn, now that you mentioned Keuchel shaving the beard. But the reason I bring Lance Lynn up is Lance Lynn went to the Yankees, and Lance Lynn had the full beard with the Cardinals, right? He goes over to the Yankees, he shaves the beard. I can't even recognize the guy. Of course, he can't get anybody out, and so the Yankees make short use of Lance Lynn. But now with Texas, look at his last 3 starts. 7 innings pitched in all 3 games. The most earned runs he's given up in any one game is 3. He's only walked 1 in each of his last 3 starts. And his last start against Seattle on the 21st, he struck out 11. And he's pitching today against who? Seattle. Where? In Seattle, at Pitcher's Park. Are you feeling it? Aren't you feeling some Lance Lynn today? Go grab him. I'm not kidding. I mean, come on. He's already owned them a week ago in Texas, right? In Texas. A hitter's park. He struck out 11. He's going to Seattle today. So get you some Lance Lynn. All right? If you're in Daly. I love Lance Lynn in Daly today. But now comparing him back to Keuchel. Keuchel will shave the beard. Okay? Keuchel's got all winter to grow that beard back if that's what he chooses to do. All right? Keuchel wants to win. I can feel a little chip on that shoulder for Keuchel. Dallas Keuchel knows, and I'm going to talk about run differential shortly here, but Houston is the team to beat in the American League, and the Yankees can be one of the teams that could do it. Now, they've been hurt. I mean, haven't they just been amazing how they have taken these guys off the scrap heap, these rookies you've never heard of, the Ursulas of the world, and now they are like, you know, in charge of the American League East, at least for now. Now, I know they've played Baltimore. I know they've played Kansas City. I know there are tougher games to come, like this week, later in the week. They play the Red Sox, and that ought to be good TV to watch, right? Good game to go to. I am planning to go to see Houston and the Yankees in late June at Yankee Stadium. I've got to get my tickets and all those, you know, important things. But that's a weekend series I'm planning to go see. That, again, will be sort of a litmus test. And who knows? By that time, we could see Mr. Judge. We could see Mr. Gregorius. We could see Mr. Stanton. And when these guys start coming back, the Yankees really have some decisions to make, don't they? You know, where do we play these guys? You know. So, at any rate, that's just my prediction on where I think the 2 pitchers may wind up. We'll see. And we'll see. Malpal's typing some more what happens. Okay, let's move along. Boy, time just flies when you're having fun. And I did my segments about right. I've got these things timed, and here it is. We're 40 minutes in, and I'm moving on to my next segment. Here we go. I want to talk about the swinging A's for a minute. All right? How about those swinging A's? You know, this team did basically nothing without Matt Olson. And now Matt Olson is back, and the A's, well, they seem to be back too. Now, yesterday, it was Josh Phegley and the bats coming to life.
That one is hit to left field. And that baby is gone. I'll have a pina colada, please. Number 6 for Phegley. You know, that's his first here at the Coliseum, so maybe it's the music that inspired him to go deep here at the Coliseum. Because Mike Leake has that same pitch. Got us pretty much, only this one down the middle. Little two-seamer that got right in the wheelhouse of Josh Phegley of Stay Hot Fegs.
The A's are red hot. Okay. They've really won 9 games in a row, but sandwiched in between is a suspended game. Okay, so take out the suspended game and they've won 6 in a row. And yesterday, Phegley's hit, it's like a different hero every day, you know. And similar to the Yankees, they're without Chris Davis. They've been without Matt Olson. They've had some injuries to overcome. But it looks like the A's are waking up. And since Olson's return, they haven't lost. Okay? Olson is hitting. He's hit, well, already, let's see, Olson is up to 250, okay? He's hit 5 home runs. Chapman, 2 for 4 yesterday. Chapman hit his 13th yesterday. Cana's been hitting. Simeon's been hitting. And they've got a pitcher, you know, yesterday, Brant Anderson pitched for Oakland yesterday. He went 6 1/3 with only 1 earned. Petit out of the bullpen looks great as a holds guy. Trainin is back. And they've got a rookie pitcher, Jesus Luzardo, who will be up shortly, who's supposed to be a phenom. Look out for the A's. I mean, it's not just one player. It's not a great player. It's the team as a whole, and they're starting to come together, and that will lead me into this. Run differential. I want to talk about the standings and the run differential, and it's really interesting, and we're going to start in the American League. Okay? In the American League, the Yankees are 34-18. They've won 8 of their last 10. They lead the Tampa Bay Rays by 2 games, and the Red Sox by 6.5. The Red Sox are 28-25. And so bring that up for a point. In the Central, wow, the Twins, 36-16. They're playing .692 baseball, folks. The best record in the American League. And they already have a 10-game lead over Cleveland. And Trevor Bauer did nothing yesterday to help Cleveland. You know, the thing is, Cleveland's pitching has deteriorated, injury or just plain performance. The hitting hasn't been there. Jose Ramirez, I mean, come on. Jose Ramirez has got to be the biggest disappointment in fantasy baseball in 2019. Where did he go in your league's drafts? I bet you he was in every top 10, if not in every top 5, and Ramirez is hitting under 200 still. And Cleveland is 10 games out. They only lead the White Sox by 3 games. 26-26. In the American League West, Houston 35-19, but their 10-game lead a few days ago is now only 6.5, and it's 6.5 over second place Oakland. That's right, second place Oakland, who have the same record as the Boston Red Sox at 28-25. So if the season ends today, Oakland and Boston have to play a game to decide who's one of the wild cards. Now, why do I like Oakland? because Oakland plays in the American League West, and outside of Houston, it's Texas, it's the Angels.